me start out with a reflection I've had all evening. I have been puzzled, wondering about how I was going to proceed. And so I think I'm going to take the more adventurous route. I was going to start with the historical, but I always feel history doesn't really present us with the noblest view, and therefore I'll sneak in history later. So, at the last talk, we were doing Plato's Republic, the arts, the spiritual arts, the training of the philosopher king. And I introduced an idea that the whole development of Platonic thought in the training of the philosopher king involves a very curious idea of measure. Because if you can grasp something, you've measured it. If you've grasped it, then you can define it. If you can define it, you can position it or locate it in a structure. That's what we talked about. Now I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to push the implications of it in terms of Pseudo-Dionysius. But first, let me see if I can get you into a little bit of Platonic arithmetic. Let's start this way. First, there is an ultimate, the good itself. The good itself is called the object of all of man's desires, and all desire, it's the ultimate object of desire. When you want to consider it, therefore, in terms of an object of desire, you call it the good. If you want to talk about it of its intellectual side, you talk about it as the one. And they are metaphysically equivalent. Now, in terms of Platonic vision, the one overflows because it's so perfect that it overflows. There are three possibilities, of course. That overflowing could deplete itself, and then it would be less than itself because of the creation. It could be just even with itself, and therefore any creation that flowed from it would deprive itself of some of its own substance. Or it could be an overabundance of flowing. And that's the image that's used, an overflowing abundance. That's called the procession. And once it proceeds, it then, of course, returns to its source. And in that return, that's called the reversion. So therefore, there is something inherent in the one that overflows. Therefore, there's an immanent quality. It overflows. That's a procession. It returns back to its source. At that moment, in returning to its source, it recognizes, it knows the nature of its source. Therefore, that comes into existence intelligence. Now, it's not a passive intelligence, because it took all of this. This is a power. This is a power. This is a return of vast power. Therefore, it is vitality itself. And since what is encountered is not illusion, but the nature of reality, therefore, it is being. These three together are what is called, therefore, sometimes being, sometimes intelligence. And therefore, we have the good, or the one, because of its overflowing. This is a metaphysical creation. There comes into existence being, vitality, hyphenated intelligence. Now, the very same The very same dynamic takes place on that level. And it too carries on the same kind of activity. And it generates, therefore, soul. World soul. Same thing takes place, and then we have individual soul and body. Now, the whole idea of Plato, the whole idea of the Platonic tradition, is based upon just one idea. And that is, how can you understand the fact that there are times when we participate into something higher? To understand that is metaphysics. That's all it is. Platonic thought is nothing other than an intellectual approach to try to understand the very nature of the way in which we at times participate in things higher than ourselves. Next point. You see, we can now say, can we not, one thing which is different than a modern view. This is the essential difference between modern philosophy and classic philosophy in its simplest expression. The cause is always superior to its effect. So much so that the effect must always produce a likeness to its superior. A likeness. Never the same. It produces a likeness. But wait a minute, did we not say a moment ago that this is a series of causes and effects and causes and effects? That's right. Each one is overflowing. Each one, therefore, is a cause that produces the next one. Each one, therefore, is superior to the next one. That means there's a hierarchy. Necessarily, that means there's a hierarchy. If this is producing this, then this must be inferior to that. Therefore, this is superior to that. Good heavens. If this overflows producing this, then this is superior to this. In a similar way, this is superior to this. Therefore, we have a hierarchy. Necessarily a hierarchy based upon this one simple fact. Right? Each cause is superior to its effect. This is a cause. This is its effect. It in turn becomes a cause, and it produces its effect. It becomes a cause, it produces its effect. Therefore, to express that in one word, hierarchy.
But you just got through saying the one procession was reversion, so it completes, goes in a circle.
That's right. From here, only from here. That produces this. This turns around and produces that. This turns around and produces that. The same dynamic appears on each level.
The Sufis call it, they use the symbol of a fountain.
That's right. It is. That's exactly the same language. Fountain. Yeah, fountain. Overflowing fountain. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Now look here. Would you not agree then that we can rank these, therefore, in terms of, all right, this is higher than that, this is higher than that, this is higher than that,